Welcome to my channel and welcome to the first video in the new year. Sorry for my voice, because right after Christmas I managed to catch quite a nasty flu. Good thing that in advance I managed to film several videos for the beginning of January. So my December, the whole December was dedicated only to Christmas pictures. The only page which I managed to color in the first days of December was in Mythic World. I hoped that I could finish this interesting spread with sea creatures, and on the beginning of December I had a lighthouse and I started to color island. You can see that I added sky, I actually colored sea creatures, and now I just need to finish water. So it will be my first task in December when I am able to color again. So I hope that in the end of January I will finish this one, and at least I hope to start another spread here. I'm quite unhappy with my progress. I want to color quicker in this book because I have a lot of ideas. I can imagine all color palettes for these pictures, but because I use mostly pencils without help of paints, well, it's quite time-consuming work, and I made break here because my arm started to feel tired and started to hurt when I did the first part of the spread. Anyway, I do love how it looks, and I do love how I did skin of these sea creatures, fin folks, and well, I will try to be more attentive to this book because it's still one of my favorites. And let's start with Christmas colorings. In December I got a couple of new Christmas books in my collection. This jolly book was created by Ukrainian artist. There are several varieties of them, printed on smooth or textured paper. I selected a book printed on real watercolor paper. It's very thick and with very pleasant texture. And here I did two pictures. Maybe now after this spread we can zoom closer. Here, this creepy Christmas tree, the only name I have for this page. And here I played with various types of watercolors. I hope that you can see how shiny is my Christmas tree. I used two shades of metal watercolors, green and green with a little bit of yellow, so it's really very bright. On the background I used one black-green watercolor as a base, and it already gave quite interesting stains on the background because of the paper texture, but I also sprinkled it with metallic pearlescent green and with gold, of course, for festive look. Here I color this naughty elf with mix of Derwent graphitins and Kohinoor Mondeluz pencils. For the second page I used the same media, so simple regular watercolor and on top of it pearlescent watercolor. For the main image, Kohinoor Mondeluz, I especially wanted to do this light halo around candles. It reminded me about Saint Lucia with this Swiss candle on her head, and I wanted here to color everything in dark and muted colors and to have just two bright spots, flame and halo around candles and those bright apples. I think that everything went exactly like I wanted, and really it was a huge pleasure to work on real watercolor paper with Kohinoor Mondeluz and graphitins. It's a different experience from what we can achieve on smooth paper without texture. On real watercolor paper, these water-soluble pencils show all their properties, their intense colors, their interesting textures, so definitely I will try to color at least one page in this book in January. I think about picture with a skating elf. You know that I love figure skating, and if I have such page in this book, I definitely will try to color it. Other new additions to my coloring book collection of Christmas books are those Matchstick Mouse by Morgan O'Brien and Christmas Tree, Nice Little Town by Tatiana Bagema. It's actually my first paper book by Tatiana. Previously I purchased PDF and printed them myself, but I decided that I want to have normal books. Well, Matchstick Mouse, it's definitely one of my new love. In December we have complicated time because of the shelling and problems with electricity supply. I had very limited amount of time for coloring. I used batteries, I used lanterns, power banks to be able to color and to film videos, but still it's a little bit complicated to start something really huge and difficult. So that's where such book with more simple and smaller design, it was a lifesaver, and it always helped me to start laughing, to be in much better mood, because pictures, they are adorable. Well, I managed to do several pages. My first one was this one, very relaxed, very cozy evening probably, and here I started to color with Prismacolors. I wouldn't say that Prismacolors for me were perfect choice. They were too soft, too grainy on this paper. I had to blend with harder pencils or with varnisher. So after I did this one, I decided that maybe for the next projects I can use something different. I tried to use color pencils, and in my plans I also have plans to try Arteza. Well, sorry guys again for my voice. Well, it's not easy to talk. Anyway, I discovered that I absolutely love the style of these pictures. Nothing overwhelming, and in a relatively quick time you can do such amazing tiny designs. Very helpful to get Christmas spirit. The second project which I did here, it's with color pencils. You know that I love gingerbread cookies, gingerbread man. So when I saw this very nice scene where a mouse started to eat gingerbread cookie, I decided that okay, it will be my next project. So color pencils, they have nice selection of those yellow brown colors, so I managed to do I would say three-dimensional look for the cookie. For the background I also tested Castle Art pastel tints, and well, they also wasn't the best choice for this paper, but I used them as blenders. They are slightly harder, so at least they helped me to get rid of the grainy look and white spots of the paper. And finally, I did picture where my mouse packed her presents. I think that I selected it because of this adorable sticky tape which she used for packaging, and mouse was in such haste that the sticky tape even was attached to her ear. Anyway, it's more colorful. Again, I used mostly color pencils. Only on the fur of the mouse I used Prismacolors and a little bit of acrylic markers. Also in this book I started to use for the first time my new Arctics acrylic markers. I'm quite pleased how they behave. The only disappointment is a white marker. It's not as opaque as white Posca. The rest of the markers, yellow colors, pink colors, gray colors, they are really quite nice, so I am happy that now I have them in my stash. Now Tatiana Bogema, I try to color something in her Christmas books each December, sometimes also each January. And while I was waiting for the arrival of Nice Little Town Christmas tree, I found this picture which I printed in the previous year but didn't have time to color. It's from her book Santa's Village. For me, it's her best Christmas book. This one also isn't bad, but Christmas Village for me is more interesting. Maybe because of the more detailed interior designs, maybe because of these adorable elves. My favorite medium to use in Bogema books for now it's Arteza pencils. Well, they are not perfect for blending, but they are definitely very intense and bright, and that's exactly what I need for the style of Tatiana Bogema pictures. So everything here was made with Arteza pencils, and I think that I managed to recreate this atmosphere of the last hours before the Christmas dinner starts. You can see that this elf do last preparations to bake something, and well, my favorite area was to color all those garlands, and I also love to look at all those supplies for baking which elf has on the shelves. When I got a Nice Little Town, I was thinking that maybe I will start it next year or in January, but then I decided no, at least one page I can do here. And what can I say? Yeah, paper is thin, and I can't say that it's very well behaved with Prismacolor pencils, but with Arteza together with Blender you definitely can achieve decent results. I had to put something beneath this paper in order not to damage the next page, but blending was acceptable, and especially if you use together softer and harder pencils, you will be able to get nice coverage. So that's my first picture which I did here. You know that I love pictures where we have something from steampunk style, and here of course I was attracted to those interesting tubes, columns, buttons probably. I don't know, maybe it's some kind of machine to create lollipops, or maybe it's just part of the mice hole, such an interesting design. Anyway, I started to color from those columns, and it was nice practice how to color with Arteza pencils, slightly different color for the metals, more yellowish and more reddish, maybe like copper and old gold. I also used one of Derwent drawing pencils for the area where I need more soft coverage. Well, it's nothing special, but because of the bright colors, because of the festive elements like garland or their sweaters, it also helped me to get more festive spirit. I'm glad that I purchased it as a book. When I have these separate pictures, they don't give me so much pleasure to look at them as a book. When I can do a flip through from time to time, maybe I will try to attach those individual pictures which I already colored somewhere to the end of this book. In the next book by Klara Markova, we will have again mice and mice hole, Christmas in the mice family. Here. Well, it was an interesting coloring because I think that for the interior of the mice hole you can use the craziest colors for the walls, for the carpets, but sometimes it felt quite overwhelming because of the various details which you can find here. Sometimes I wish that these pictures would be slightly less detailed. But well, you can color it step by step. I divided it into several groups. I did fireplace first, then I did Christmas tree area, then I dedicated my time to sweets. And in the end, I hope that even if everything is very bright, still the whole composition looks more or less well balanced. I am glad that you immediately look at the Christmas tree. For me, it was the most important element to show that we have Christmas evening when mice start to play with their presents or to open their presents. And even if it was quite long, I enjoyed it a lot. I hope that in January I will find courage and time to do something else. I think about the next page because in the last year this book it was sadly neglected. I did just 2 pictures, and of course I want to color more because I love Clara's books. Well, I have only one, but I'm quite happy with the pictures which I have here, and I intend to dedicate more of my time to this book during this year. And of course, my favorite artist for Christmas pictures is Teresa Goodrich. I didn't color anything in her Winter Wonderland, but at least I colored in Enchanted Christmas and in Christmas Charm. In Enchanted Christmas, I did this poinsettia fairy. I wanted to do it since the last year. Since the last year, I knew that I want to try to do more pinkish and cream color for poinsettia and more intense wine red for the clothes of the fairy, and that's exactly what I did. It was an interesting experiment because here I mostly colored with Color pencils. Usually in Creative Haven book I use Prismacolors, but I wanted something new, something different, and in Color pencils we also have nice variety of greens. I needed at least 2 palettes for greens, for the leaves and for the pine trees. Also here I used my Arteza gouache to make pine tree more fluffy and more realistic. And I think that those Christmas ornaments also look nice. I added a lot of white Posca to indicate all reflections and highlights to make them look like they are made from glass. So my Christmas fairy and also my Christmas unicorn. Here everything colored with Prismacolor pencils. As usual, I tried to do unicorn white, but with delicate shading in lavender gray colors. I decided also to decorate the mane of the unicorn with a little bit of gold strands or gold ribbons. Well, and maybe the best decision which I made for this page is this light halo around castle. It helped me to attract more attention to the building, and I think that in such way as a very detailed bottom part of the page is well balanced with the upper page. Some of the stars I covered with dark Prismacolor pencils because they look a little bit too childish, but some of them created a really nice light area around the shining castle. And finally, Christmas Charm, where I managed to finish the biggest amount of pictures in December. Let's start in order. I would say that it's my favorite finished December page. I don't know why, maybe because I love the landscape behind the window. Snowman looks quite adorable, and a very cozy building which we can see through the window, and also a very festive and bright atmosphere inside the house. I had some doubts regarding color for the curtains, but now I think that everything works quite well. Traditional primary colors like gold, red, green for the Christmas tree, for the presents, and slightly more dark but still rich colors for the curtains, for the canopy here. I think that it created interesting contrast between interior and exterior parts of this Christmas scene. Here. Next, I decided to do this kitchen. Usually, I prefer to color something without animals because I never managed to do good coloring on the animals, cats or dogs in Teresa Goodrich books. But here I decided that I can simply shade a little bit of fur, so dog mostly is white, but I wanted to do this Christmas tree, a very interesting composition of the page. And in the beginning I wanted to color it with polychromos pencils. I started on the wall and on those decorative tiles, bricks, but well, I was quite disappointed how polychromos blended here. They were blotchy. I spent maybe 3 times longer time to finish those small area. So then I switched back to my Prismacolor pencils and I told myself, stop experimenting. If you enjoy working with Prismacolors in Teresa Goodrich books, then continue and just enjoy the process. I think that Christmas tree looks quite shiny. I added additional lamps, tiny white dots, but they look like tiny lanterns, small garlands, and the whole Christmas tree look more shiny. I tried to use again a lot of traditional red and white ornaments on the cup, on the kettle, on the kitchen towel. So the only area where I'm a little bit unhappy is that I didn't manage to do a more shining, more light about those, around those 2 garlands. I thought about it a little bit too late when I already did the background, so I didn't manage to do a light halo around them. Next one is this gift shop. I think that I selected it mostly because I wanted to test a new color palette for the bricks. I think that it's something in old English Victorian style for me when building is made from such dark bricks. And it created quite good background for the tree, for the beautiful shop windows full of interesting presents. Here dog was much easier to color because it's small, so I didn't need to do something complicated. I added a little bit of wooden texture to make it even more cozy. Well, it's nice, but still the first picture in this book, it was my favorite. And page which I finished just a day ago, it's this Christmas Eve. I wanted to show that we have evening scene, so sky is dark and from the church there is a very bright and warm light. I deliberately used this yellowed orange, canary yellow to decorate Christmas tree and to create light coming from the stained glass window and from inside the church. Well, it was nice, but when I finished it I realized that I'm happy with the pictures which I did this month, and I started to feel a little bit tired from huge areas of snow. Yeah, snow it's not difficult to color, you just need couple of shades of blue and huge jar of white paint to mask black lines if you want it to make to look realistic. But I think that I have enough of winter pictures for now. So in January I don't think that I will be doing a lot of pictures with snow. I will try to find something for winter Sam, but without huge areas of snow. Here I mostly love how I did wooden texture on the building, And I do love those two very bright Christmas trees. Maybe it's because I miss to have around me in real life a lot of Christmas trees like we have in previous years when you go in the central part of the city. So highly decorated Christmas trees, they were everywhere, and I decided that at least I can decorate Christmas trees on my pictures. Well, even if I hadn't touched all the books which I planned in the beginning of December, and some of the books like Kanoka Yaguza or other Christmas books which I planned to color, they remained untouched, I'm still quite pleased with my December results. As I said, it was difficult to color because of the electricity supply, and it was difficult to do videos. I had to re-edit them several times because when I can use the full strength of the light around, of course quality of the video is better, and when you color with limited amount of light around, pictures they look less bright and with more dull colors, but still I think that I managed okay. Now I will grant myself a short break to recover, to get back my voice, and I hope that in January we will color something else, something nice, and that new coloring journey will start with something interesting. I hope that you have a nice start of the new year and that you got a lot of coloring presents from your Christmas trees. Thank you, and I hope that I will see you very soon. Sorry again for my voice.